After months of leaks, the fabled Modern Warfare Battle Royale mode titled Warzone was released on the 10th of March. Now, having an unhealthy amount of playtime in many different COD games in the past, and a pretty extensive playtime in Battle Royale games, particularly both PUBG and Apex, I downloaded this right away, and while initially really disliking the base Modern Warfare multiplayer, and already even dropped it, I've been very impressed with Warzone so far. This new BR excels with its tried and true COD gunplay, but also effectively innovates on the genre in new and interesting ways. Firstly, unique to Warzone, there's no inventory management whatsoever. Just like in Blackout, different ammo types stack, and you can only carry one of each item, that being a lethal, tactical, streak, field upgrade, and a gas mask. Having to choose between ammo, nades, or streaks, or anything else isn't not present here at all. Warzone also removes the ability to customize your gun on the fly by removing all ground attachments. Attachments are either on the weapon when you pick them up, or they're not there. You can't add them. This streamlines the looting process, making it moving through areas faster and towards action a lot quicker, which I quite like. While I do miss having the choice of what to gather to fit my playstyle and customize my weapons throughout the game, this change makes me more consistently feel like I'm in gunfights and engagements more than I am looting compared to any other BR I've played. Also unique to Warzone is its economy system. Through looting, killing other players, and completing contracts throughout the match, you gain cash. Take this cash to buy station, in which things such as armor, streaks, weapon drops, and even respawning fallen teammates can be purchased. This economy system fundamentally changes how the BR plays. After filling up on your loot limits, the thing you can constantly collect is this cash. This changes things by making buy stations a necessity to constantly buy things throughout the match. Things like purchasing armor and UAVs are absolutely crucial to succeed. I constantly find myself looking for the nearest buy station when moving throughout the map. Another innovative thing Warzone does is that of its gulag system. After your first death, you are sent to the gulag to 1v1 another player, and whoever wins will parachute back into the map. While lots of people are in love with this feature, I'm still unsure of it. I only truly appreciate it when I die and my teammates are still in a fight. This way I can jump back in without having to wait for them and without them having to waste the cash on me. When we all die and us into the gulag though, I'd almost rather start a new match. Sometimes just dropping that late into the game is such a disadvantage, it's frustrating. Another unique addition to Warzone is that of contracts. While initially they seem like a very small addition, they add a lot to the pace of the game. There are three types of contracts, the first of which is a bounty, where you hunt down an enemy fairly close to you. Recon contracts, where you secure an area nearby. This one gives you knowledge of where the next zone will be, very similar to Pathfinder's passive in Apex. And lastly is Scavenger, which gives you 3 supply crates in a row to loot. All of these reward you with lots of cash, and often a fair bit of loot too. It's just another way to keep players engaged when not participating in gunfights, and is a nice refresh from the usual looking around, looting, and then fighting. I hope is that in time, they'll be able to add in and cycle new forms of contracts to keep them feeling more fresh and engaging in the long term. While a lot of these unique things Warzone is doing is to its benefit, there's a fair bit that can be improved upon if Warzone wants to remain a top battle royale for the long term. The first one here for me is a little thing, but something I've become increasingly frustrated with while playing. See, on console, when you pick up things, you have to hold the button instead of a simple press. Blackout first launched like this as well, but Track later gave an option in the settings for it to be a press instead of a hold. I'd really appreciate it if Infinity Ward could do the same here with Warzone, as it just makes looting so much slower and annoying. The major issue right now in Warzone would be that of the loot pool, and there are a few distinct problems with this. Firstly, the loot variety in this game is right now its biggest hindrance. The basic guns you'll find everywhere are the same 6. The MP7, the M13, the SCAR, the RPG, the Model, and the MG34. I'm already sick of seeing these guns. I'm using almost the same ones each game until I find a crate with a blueprint or my loadout drops. The main issue with this is that there's so many fantastic guns in the game, and why at least very half of the weapons from each category, or even all of them, isn't in there is honestly beyond me. Simply adding more guns to the ground would improve the game a whole lot and would create more unique gunfights and team setups early to mid game. My second issue with the loot is of attachments. While I would be interested in seeing attachments to be included on the ground to customize the base weapons, it would be going against the style and type of game they've chosen to make here. Modern Warfare has the most robust range of attachments in any Call of Duty game. I think most guns you find on the ground should be equipped with at least a couple of these attachments. I also think these attachments should be viewable before picking up to see what you're actually running and make better decisions about your loot. My third issue tied to loot is that of loadout drops. It comes to a point in the mid to late game when nearly everyone just has their loadouts, which usually consist of a thermal sniper and assault rifle. This really makes looting previous to that feel almost pointless, as a lot of the time most of what you've picked up is dropped, and everyone having similar setups make final circles pretty predictable. I believe loadouts need to be rarer, which is why I think the price in the shop needs to be significantly increased. Something like 15,000 would do, and I also think they need to be removed from random dropping entirely. Having to constantly build up your cash within the team and potentially pull together to get your loadouts would be a very strategic and rewarding minigame within Warzone itself. I would also be fine with them removing these custom loadouts entirely, and instead in the loadout drops having them be default ones Infinity Ward makes. I think with some blueprint weapons and some unique attachments and perks, it could really spice up this late game. I think the gas mask animation needs to be changed somehow. Even if it's just making it being put on manually, animation just putting it off or on can significantly ruin gunfights. When you're downed in this game, the health is absolutely minuscule, which is why I think it could be changed. It barely takes any more bullets to finish a player once you've already started shooting them. I understand this is because of the Gulag system and how easy it is to buy a player back. But in other BR games, killing a down player is a risk versus reward system. Obviously the reward is their loot, and the risk is being killed by someone else while you're killing them. The issue in Warzone is, it throws off this system entirely, as the risk is significantly reduced compared to every other BR, making the reward far too easy to get. Warzone probably has my favourite armor and health system in any BR. I love that most of the time, players are on an even playing field with their armor, and it isn't down to who's lucky enough to loot the better one. There is one glaring hole in this armor system though, and that is if that you're not close to a buy station, particularly in the late game, you're not going to be able to restock your armor, which discourages you from engaging in these gunfights. In BR, I believe the worst mechanics are those that discourage you from participating in gunfights. I think this can be easily fixed though, in one or two ways. Firstly, like in Apex when you kill a player and you pick up their shields and it's full, when you kill a player they should drop how much armor they had on them before the gunfight started, so the armor you or someone depleted by shooting them. My second way of improving this, and honestly my preferred way, is that you should just be able to stack significantly more than 5. Even up to 8 or 9 armors would help fix this. It will create players that loot up well to have an advantage in long gunfights and final circles. To stop it being too easy to get that much armor, perhaps make it so that one purchase only gives you half of a full stack. But it would take 2 purchases to be fully stacked up. I also think that pings from yourself and your teammate should appear on the compass, as they currently don't. Another glaring issue is that of footsteps and audio balancing. Footsteps are super quiet, and it's so hard to hear players who are actually very close to you. It needs to be tuned up a lot better, especially considering how other things in the game can be so loud. Gunshots that are so far away that they don't even show up on your radar at all can sound like they're so close to you. While I still think that these should be audible, they should be lowered a bit. And lastly, with sound being inside vehicles like helicopters, it becomes so hard to hear anything else, even your teammates when you're inside them. I would also love it if they could make it a bit easier and a bit more possible to travel longer distances while parachuting gliding to the ground. I think the map's very solid. I just have one issue in that a lot of the valuable places to drop seem to be in the lower center of the map, with the top being a bit bare. I think a map with a more spread out viable locations would be appreciated in the future. My last major issue is that of the pacing. I feel mid to late game, the pacing is fantastic. Early game, it's a little slow, and I think this could be easily fixed by changing the first zone a little bit. I just think initially, the first zone should be a bit smaller, and that the gas should come in a little bit quicker. So far, I'm actually really enjoying Warzone. It's a very nice change of pace from Modern Warfare, and even other Battle Royales, like Apex and Blackout. There's a lot of new, unique features that I do absolutely love. And even if I do miss things like inventory management, I appreciate and enjoy how different it is to play without it. I think Warzone can have a very strong and positive future if a few of these things I've mentioned can be changed, and I really hope they are. This is of course if Activision doesn't decide to drop it as soon as Black Ops 5 comes out.